This communication was prepared for educational purposes only and should not be construed as investment advice. All opinions or views reflect the judgment of the authors as of the broadcast date and are subject to change without notice. Julius Wealth Advisors, LLC, is a registered investment advisor. Our disclosure brochure, available at advisorinfo.sec.gov or through contacting us, provides further detail about our business, services, and fees.
Welcome to episode 18 of The Big Bo Show. On episode 18, we're going to discuss a concept called swagger. What is it, and can it help you build sustainable wealth? We'll go through the definition of it, where swagger can go wrong, where it can help you. And then we're going to have a special bone nose segment at the end, where we're going to introduce 6 steps to implement swagger into your life to help you grow. So sit back, relax, and welcome to episode 18 of The Big Bo Show.
Let's take a little flower and turn it into a tree, 'cause we're harnessing the power that has been passed down centuries. Life ain't a game, fortune and fame, you're gonna win over time, you know. It's hard to attain, but you're on your way. You're listening to The Big Bo Show. Brought to you by Julius Wealth Advisors.
All right, let's get after it. We're going to talk about the concept of swagger all throughout episode 18 of The Big Bo Show. Number one, how did I personally get infatuated with this concept of swagger? Growing up as a kid in South Florida, I was a huge Miami Hurricanes fan. And if you look it up, people always talk about how the U invented swagger. Throughout the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, the Miami Hurricanes had some of the best, most dominant college football teams out there, with players like my personal favorite, Warren Sapp, Willis McGahee, Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, some of the best defenses and offenses in all of college football. And this drove them to win multiple college championships. Now, many people would think, watching them, well, the Hurricanes, they were just a cocky, flashy team, but they were not. They had swagger. So what is swagger? To me, having swagger means that you have the confidence to know that you're going to win, but being humble enough to know that you still have to work hard to get there. You see, there's a fine line between cockiness, overconfidence, and swagger. Having enough humility and being too humble. There are fine lines. And as CEO and founder of Julius Wealth Advisors, I come across clients, whether they're current clients or prospective clients or just talking with people. And I think having this balancing act, to have swagger, will help push you and motivate you and get you to where you want to go on your path to creating sustainable wealth. Some people have too much confidence. Some people don't even have the confidence to even try. Some people have no humility. Some people are way too humble enough to think they can even get to where they want to go. So let's get this going. Let's talk about ways that I see where things can go wrong when it comes to swagger in creating sustainable wealth. As I talked about, there's this fine line between cockiness and swagger. One is blind and one is aware enough to have humility and know one's limitations. Cockiness is another way of saying someone is overconfident in their abilities. And this leads to where swagger can go wrong. You see, there's a behavioral concept known as overconfidence bias. And overconfidence bias is the tendency for a person to overestimate their abilities. Let me show this to you in a couple studies that have been done on everyday life, not in the finance realm. The first study was done by a couple individuals. I will not repeat their names, but the study was talking about how most people think they have above average intelligence, and the other one was done by the American Automobile Association, both done in 2018. So let's go through these examples. The first one found that 65% of Americans think they have above average intelligence. 65%. The second study found that 73% of Americans think they're better than average drivers. Think about that. Average, by definition, is 50% are above and 50% are below. That's how you come up with the average. So these studies are showing how most Americans are overconfident in their abilities. We typically tend to overestimate how good we are at things. And this is where you can see that, in my opinion, the way to overcome overconfidence ties to one of the core values that I have at Julius Wealth Advisors in knowledge. Knowledge. Swagger often arises from knowledge. So you see, if you have a lot of confidence, but you back that with knowledge, this will allow you to get you on your path, on your plan to approach sustainable wealth and to a place of swagger. Because if you understand what you are doing and you understand where you want to go and you've done the research and you've done the data, or you found someone that has the knowledge that can complement your knowledge, then you don't always try to chase what other people are doing. You have the knowledge which gives you the confidence, the proper confidence to get you to where you want to go. Now, unfortunately, being a huge sports fan and working with some athletes, what I've seen, and one of a couple statistics that really upset me, is where this overconfidence, this lack of knowledge, unfortunately, sometimes gets the best of people. You see, in athletes, and I was there, I was, played in college, didn't make it to the NFL, hurt my back. A lot of athletes are very driven, very motivated people. And they've been told their whole lives how great they are at things. But then when they shift to post-career, well, now they're kind of stepping out of their core competencies. Their core competency their whole life has been sports. Now they have to shift, and they've been given all this money, all this attention, all this notoriety, and they have to shift their core competency. So where are they going to get this knowledge? They need to then take all the knowledge and the hard work that they gain the knowledge to play sports and go successfully to shift to the next phase of their lives. And this leads to two statistics that I see that really upset me. It's a study that was done all the way back in 2009 by Sports Illustrated that found that 78% of NFL players go bankrupt or fall into severe financial stress within 2 years after retiring. And in the NBA, this number is 60% after 5 years. So this is where you can see that too much swagger, whether it's in sports and the statistics that I gave you, whether it's people thinking they have above average intelligence, better drivers, business, whatever it is, too much swagger, having a lot of confidence and not backing it with knowledge can lead you to thinking you're always the smartest guy in the room, which ironically is literally the book title that chronicles the downfall of Ken Lay and Joe Skilling at Enron. With too much swagger, you can easily convince yourself that it makes sense to try something like day trading, buying penny stocks, following the herd. Of course you should, because you know best. You're too overconfident in your abilities and you're not backing this with the proper knowledge. What I would say is good luck with that. Historically speaking, that philosophy, those strategies, having too much confidence and not backing with knowledge, has failed people over and over and over again. So the first way, and the way that we have seen the swagger can go wrong, is having overconfidence and not backing it with knowledge. So now we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how swagger can help you in creating sustainable wealth.
Growing up, Jason Blumstein had become accustomed to a life of financial struggle and frustration. His grandfather, Julius, took the time to teach him the difference financial literacy can make. Since then, Jason has Julius to thank for pulling him out of the mud and pushing him to become empowered, educated, and independent. We want Julius Wealth Advisors to do the same for you. At Julius Wealth Advisors, we are committed to continuing the legacy of literacy and learning. Advising to us is much more than simply telling our clients what to do, it's teaching them how to do it. Our emphasis on client education is founded on the fact that we've seen its benefits firsthand. Our lives and our firm are built by the tools wise friends and family members have passed down to us, and our passion is to pass these tools unto you. Please call us at 201-289-9181 or email at info@juliuswealthadvisors.com to take your first step to be empowered to live your best financial life.
All right, welcome back. In the last segment, we went over what can go wrong with swagger or having too much confidence in your path to creating sustainable wealth. We're now going to go over the ways that swagger can help you in creating sustainable wealth. The first is swagger is tied to my core value of integrity. Integrity, trust, having a track record. Items that typically lack integrity are things or investments or plans that are flashy, things that have flashiness. For example, we just experienced this from 2021 through 2022 when we saw major spikes and then collapses of things like NFTs or cryptocurrencies or investments that everyone thought were going to the moon, get rich quick schemes. Things like that typically, and what we've seen throughout history, lack integrity. What has integrity? What have I seen? The way that I look to implement historically for myself and clients at Julius Wealth Advisors, simply in investing in the most profitable businesses. It's not sexy. Where did I learn this philosophy from? People like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. And it's pretty easy to say. I think if you would ask pretty much anybody, is Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett sexy? I'm pretty sure that answer is going to be no. But this philosophy has driven them. It's driven me. And this is because you're investing in companies that have integrity, have strong balance sheets, effective business models, strong moats, good cash flow, high returns on equity. All things that do not sound sexy, but have historically speaking had integrity and have people like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger who have used this philosophy to grow their wealth, thinking long term. Again, not sexy. We've talked about this in the past. When you talk to the media or you read newspapers or you go through what's going to sell on Wall Street, these are all things that you have to own now. No, you don't. Time, discipline squared, thinking long term doesn't sound sexy, but it has integrity. It helps you to create that swagger. If something has integrity, it can create the knowledge that you need to implement swagger. Now, the next piece is passion. It also ties into my core value at Julius Wealth Advisors. First, we talked about integrity. Now we're moving on to passion. And the concept of swagger and passion both drive people to push to get better every single day. If there's something in life you're not passionate about, you're not going to want to wake up and drive and push and have that humility to get better. Passion is that silent driver. People with passion and have confidence and then combine it with humility. They're never satisfied because you know there is more to do to get better. What am I investing for? What do I want out of my life? What is my why? When you find that why, you will find your passion. And when you have a why, people that I have seen will often be successful because of their desire and drive to constantly improve. You see, because creating wealth, it's more than investing. That's where I think people get things wrong. Because you can be the best investor of all time. But what are you planning for? What is your why? What is the purpose of your investments? Or you can have a great plan, but if you have terrible investments, it's not going to help out. If you combine all that with great behavior, that swagger, the mindset to have the confidence that you're going to win, but the humility to know that you have to work hard to do so, that to me is when you can have swagger and get on your path to grow sustainable wealth. And we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to have a bone nose segment on 6 steps that you can take to implement swagger in your life as you look to grow.
Bone nose baseball. Bone nose football. Bone nose basketball too. Bone nose tennis? No. Bone nose race. Folks, you don't know Disney.
All right, welcome back. Bone nose segment. The final segment of episode 18 on swagger. We're going to go into 6 steps to help you implement swagger into your life in what I like to call the process of earning the right to grow. For me, throughout my life, I've experienced the benefits of this process, whether it be obtaining a full scholarship to play football in college and understanding my circumstances as a child to get a full scholarship to a great school, whether it be business, of starting my career off with literally only $50 in my bank account and $30,000 in debt, and growing my net worth to be able to start my own business. And most recently, this year, on my son's Little League team, who went undefeated. We've talked about this team in the past. Last year, we went 500. The year before, we went 0-8-1. And this year, they finished the season off 14-0 and went undefeated. Implementing these 6 steps in my life and this team. And in my opinion, if you implement these 6 steps, it'll help you create swagger and earn the right to grow. So let's go through these 6 steps. Step number 1, you have to show up and be present and get ready to work. You see, the first step is being present in your situation. Don't worry about where you want to go 5, 10, 15 years down the road. You'll get there, but you also have to be present and understand your current circumstance. Not what other people are doing, what you are doing. Accept the current moment you are in and then get ready to work and put in the work. Step number 2, take the time to evaluate your situation and develop a go-forward plan. Now that you're in the present and you're ready to get to work, you must take the time to evaluate and analyze yourself at every level. This will help to set the foundation for you to grow. And don't let people or other market forces push you to move too quickly, but also don't let the enemy of great be perfect. No strategy, nothing you implement is not going to have some flaws. Nothing's going to be perfect. There'll be pros and cons to everything. But if you analyzed it and you have a path of dealing with this, then you should be on your way with that great foundation. Step number 3, include your team in your plan. Being an individual, or what we used to call when I played football, a me person, that's toxic. And having anything that's toxic in an environment will destroy your plan. And don't forget, even the greatest individuals in this world are dependent on others for their successes in life. So you want to seek input from others, get help from others as you develop your plan and strategy. And know that you might have to play a different role as long as it's helping the team. For example, when I played football, what was my goal? My goal was to get a full scholarship to a great school, to get my college education paid for. I wanted to play quarterback. I thought I had a great arm, but I was 6'2", 275 pounds, and the team needed me to play offensive line. So it wasn't about me. It was about the team, and the team would eventually allow me to get me to where I wanted to go. So make sure you include a team in your plan and have that team first mentality. Step number 4, be disciplined and detail oriented. As your plans start to go into motion, you must be disciplined about executing your plan. And know that a lack of discipline will derail the best strategy, and a fierce focus on discipline can make the most lackluster strategy solid. Every day you must come to work with disciplined focus on executing your plan every step of the way. Discipline. Step number 5, be unemotional about your plan. We've talked about this. Emotions typically get people into trouble because as your plan's going along, there's going to be outsiders, there's going to be noise, there's going to be people, situations that are going to try to cut your plan down, try to cut you down. But if you're disciplined about your evaluation process and setting up your plan, do not get emotional about those doubters. And then you might get to a point in your strategy where things aren't working out. But if you're too emotional, you're going to get too high or you're going to get too low. And this might derail you on your path to growing success. And then the final step, step number 6. If you hit a bump in the road, see the first step and repeat the next. You see, it's inevitable that your plans in life, personally, professionally, sports, whatever it is, they're going to hit a snag. Plans always hit a snag. For example, when I played football in college, I injured my back, ended my football career. Did this get me down? No. I was unemotional and I said, well, I got to where I want to go. Now I'm going to have to use my brain muscle and get good grades and get the job that I always wanted. I went back to step number 1. You don't get too down. You're going to hit a bump in the road. It's inevitable. Whether it's creating wealth, you might first start investing. Market goes down 20-something% like it did last year. Are you going to get emotional and quit? Say the markets are rigged, markets are gambling? That seems overly emotional. You cannot get too emotional. And when you do, and when you hit a snag, and know that you will, go back to step number 1 and start to repeat the steps. Because constant work ethic, evaluation, teamwork, discipline, and unemotional thinking will be your ultimate recipe to grow in life and business and creating long-term sustainable wealth. So let's wrap this up. Let's wrap up episode 18 regarding swagger on the Big Bo Show. On this show, we went into ways that swagger can go wrong, and that is overconfidence bias, having too much confidence without backing it with the proper knowledge. We went into ways that swagger can work for you. That's having integrity, whether it's in your investments, it's in your plan, always having integrity as a person. And then passion, finding that why, finding that silent driver that's going to constantly push you along your way. And then we had the 6 steps for you to earn the right to grow, to create that swagger flywheel, if you will, in your life. Step number 1, show up and be present. Get ready to work. Number 2, take the time to evaluate your situation and develop a go-forward plan. Number 3, include your team in your plan. 4, be disciplined and detail-oriented. 5, be emotional about your plan. And 6, if you hit a bump in the road, which is inevitable that you probably will, see step 1 and repeat the steps. So with that said, that's going to conclude episode 18 of the Big Bo Show. If you're curious about building swagger in your life, in investing, in creating sustainable wealth, reach out to us at Julius Wealth Advisors, 201-289-9181, or email me at jason@juliuswealth.com. And I'll end the show as I end all the shows in telling you to live a life of integrity, live a life of knowledge, obtaining as much knowledge as you can, and always live a life that you're passionate about. Until next time, all the best.
Thank you for tuning into the Big Bo Show.
Let's take a little flower and turn it into a tree. 'Cause we're harnessing the power that has been passed down centuries. Life in a game, fortune and fame. You're gonna win over time, you know. It's hard to attain, but you're on your way. You're listening to the Big by Julius Wealth Advisors.